be a pregnancy, but it is a miscarriage, so I was just so confused. Hello everyone, welcome to Olivia-in-Progress. I'm Olivia. As you can tell, this is the first video on my channel, and I definitely didn't want to start out my channel on a negative note. I was planning on creating a channel where I can keep the progress of my life, and I was planning to share my thoughts and feelings on the experiences that I had. This is definitely a big experience in my life, and I don't know if I want to start out a channel where I'm happy and doing all these things when I definitely don't feel like it. And I wanted to create this video for anyone who may be going through the same thing, or anyone who knows someone going through a miscarriage and they just want to help them. And personally, I wanted to create this video for anyone who knows me, so I don't have to go through the conversation multiple times, and so I can be honest about my feelings, because I know that if my friends or family ask me how I'm doing, I don't want them to worry about me. I don't want them to feel sad for me. So I would just say, I'm okay. It's fine. It'll be okay. And sometimes it may not be. And this may be a shock to people who know me, that I'm not announcing a pregnancy, but I'm announcing a miscarriage instead. And to the people I told I was pregnant, I didn't tell a lot of them that I had a miscarriage. So this may be shocking for them as well. And I also know when I was pregnant with my first miscarriage was a big anxiety for me. So I would look up these videos on YouTube so I can catch the early signs and know what it feels like. But I definitely didn't know that I would be creating one of these videos. So a little bit about my background. So we live in Atlanta with my mom, my husband, and my son, Royce. He is about 19 months old. I thought I would never have a miscarriage because my first pregnancy went so smoothly. And I thought it was so easy to get pregnant because, like, I just said to my husband, I think we're ready to have a baby now. And he was like, okay. And we got pregnant right away. I didn't think that a miscarriage would happen for the second pregnancy. Especially, I don't know anyone directly who had a miscarriage or anyone who shared this kind of experience with me. So I just thought it was not that common. But looking it up, it is very common. And some people just don't talk about it. So we wanted to have a second baby. You know, it's COVID and we don't feel safe taking him to daycare, and it's hard to have play dates because everyone's being super cautious right now and not meeting people. I felt like, oh, okay, maybe it's a good time to have a second baby so that Royce has someone to play with. And we thought we were ready for our second, so we tried, and the first month I thought I was pregnant, but my period came. I was a little bit disappointed then. In the second month, I actually got pregnant. When I took the test, I took it in secret. With my first pregnancy, my husband was like outside the bathroom waiting for the results. And so it was no big surprise. He was like, oh, and it was really like anticlimactic. So this one, I wanted to create like a surprise event for my mom and my husband, and I was really successful in that. I was creating a video on my pregnancy announcement. I was going to upload it around my second trimester when it's safe, and I didn't think I would be showing it this way. It's still something to cherish, so this is the video of my surprise pregnancy announcement and the reactions of my husband and mom.
그냥 크리스마스 트리. 알았어. 근데 지금 사진 찍자. 찍으라고. 일로 와. 오빠도 찍어도. 여기서 찍으면은 Look at it. Look at the tree. Look at it, Joanna.
이건 뭐야?
뭐야?
아, 옛날에 주 가졌을 때 아닌가?
Look at it.
몰라. 2013. 헷갈리는? 아, 2013.
엄마 봐봐.
뭐를?
비디오 찍고 있어? 이건 뭐야?
둘째 생긴
오빠.
거야?
I lied. 생리 시작 안 했어.
저 동생 생겼다.
어?
동생 생겼다. 아니 나한테 생리했다고 막 거짓말 쳤거든요 오늘. 주호야 동생 생겼단다 동생.
뭐야 이게? I took 4 tests.
4 test?
Because these ones
Oh my god.
were expired. This was from last time. This one.
Oh my god.
그럼 날짜부터 2020 이게 12월이 잠깐만 이게 어저께인가 그러면
어저께 맞아. 그러니까 you guys are like not coming. Why aren't you coming?
Oh my
아
god.
진짜 서프라이즈네.
So I think I made that announcement December 13th. It was a really fun time. Like, my family was really happy. We were really excited. It was our second pregnancy. I thought it was safe. And we told a lot more people than we did in our first pregnancy. And now I kind of regret that, because then I have to tell them now that I lost the pregnancy. So my pregnancy was a little bit different. So I had some symptoms of pregnancy too at that time. I had sore breasts and like very sensitive, and they hurt. I had to frequently go to the bathroom. I had sensitive gag reflexes when I brushed my teeth, but I didn't have a lot of other main pregnancy symptoms like getting nauseous or morning sickness or cravings or aversions to food. I had a heightened sense of smell, but it was to regular things that I'm normally sensitive to, like kimchi. My first pregnancy too, I didn't have a lot of morning sickness, so I had like 0 morning sickness, and I was like, oh, okay, this might be a lucky pregnancy where I just don't have that. But I did think it was kind of weird that I didn't have any kind of nausea or anything like that. I guess the first negative sign that I had was December 31st. I woke up at around 3 a.m. because of an unsettling dream, and I just felt really bad. Like, this dream, it seemed like something bad was going to happen, and I didn't feel good. I woke up from the dream, and just from that dream I was shook up, and then I was like thinking about my dream and why I'm feeling so bad, and I realized that my stomach was hurting. I had lower stomach pain, and I was instantly worried. Like, when you're pregnant, you're oversensitive about how your body feels, and oversensitive to what may be wrong in your body. And I had cramps, and I thought maybe the baby, I was sleeping with the boys, I thought he kicked me in the stomach or something when he was sleeping, and I thought maybe it was just my stomach hurting from food. So I tried going to the bathroom and nothing came out. So I thought maybe it's like trapped gas or constipation or something like that. I didn't want to think of it as negative, but I went to my husband. So I was sleeping in my baby's room, and then I went to my husband and I told him that my stomach hurt and I didn't feel so good. I'm worried about the baby. But he was like, maybe eat some Tylenol and try to go to sleep. And so I tried some Tylenol, and it still hurt So of course I looked online on my phone for another like hour, and I was like, okay, some cramping, maybe normal, there's no blood. So I just slept that day. Then the next morning, it still felt very weak. My stomach felt really weak, and it felt like, when you're first getting your cramps before a period. Mine aren't that bad, so it was just like mild. But every day after that, I had mild stomach cramping come and go. And whenever my stomach hurt, I was able to go to the bathroom. So I thought, okay, maybe it was just stomach pains and not related to a pregnancy, but something with my stomach. So on January 7th, I went to the bathroom and I wiped and I saw very slight pink. It worried me a little bit, but I thought, like, some people, they spot when they're pregnant and it's normal. But something inside me knew that it was wrong because I was cramping and spotting. But I had my first OB appointment the next day, so I was thinking I'll just tell my doctor and have him check me out. And an ultrasound was scheduled, so I was thinking, okay, we'll just look then. But at this point, I realized that, like, when I touched my breasts, they weren't sensitive anymore. And I knew that if your pregnancy symptoms stop, that can also be a sign of miscarriage. And I was more worried about at that point. On January 8th, I had to go tutor. So I went tutor and I came back and we were going to go out to eat lunch. And I went to the bathroom before I left. I wiped and there was definitely blood. And it seemed like the start of a period. Like when you first have very slight pink and then it gets more and more and more. It starts increasing. And so I put a panty liner on and I went in the car and I told my mom and husband that I'm spotting more, and that whole car ride was very quiet. So we arrived at the restaurant and I went to the bathroom again because I just felt like I was bleeding a little bit more. And I went there and I saw on the panty liner there was brownish blood. And I wiped again and there was more blood. And it really did seem like it was the start of a period. So I went to the doctor after lunch and, they take a urine test before the appointment. So I was super nervous because I was afraid that the urine sample would say that I'm not pregnant anymore. And I was really worried about that. And I measured my heart rate and it was like 100 something, even though I was just standing there. And I measured my stress level and it was the max. And it's never been that way, even though I was actually super stressed. It never said I was actually stressed. But this time it was like the highest I've ever seen it. I was shaking like I am now. I was shaking and I was so nervous and I was so scared that they were going to say that you're not pregnant anymore. But I went in there. I didn't want them to tell me, so I just told them right away, like, I'm bleeding. I think I'm having a miscarriage. Please check into it. And they got my symptoms. They got, the regular heart rate and a height and weight and all that stuff. And my blood pressure was high, but she said it's maybe because you're nervous. And yeah, I was. And so right away, we did an ultrasound, an intravaginal ultrasound because it's still really early. I was so nervous that I wouldn't see anything. My doctor said that, he'll check because he got my symptoms and he knows that I was thinking I was having a miscarriage, and he said we could check on the ultrasound. When we had the ultrasound, he looked in and there was a sac, but nothing inside the sac. And it was so different from my first pregnancies first ultrasound. There was no little fetus. There was no, like, nothing growing in there. There was no yolk sac. The gestational sac was empty. And he said that the size of the sac was at about 6 weeks when I should be about 8 weeks. And there was just nothing there. And he said that at 8 weeks you hear a heartbeat, but there was nothing that we can hear. And that was worrying. At that moment, I wasn't like crying or super sad because I was just like, okay, I'm trying to keep my composure so I don't cry in front of the doctor again, because I did that in my first pregnancy. And he tried to reassure me that sometimes this happens, there could still be a baby in there, but we're gonna do a follow-up in 2 weeks. So right now, when I'm filming this, I'm in between that 2 weeks. I didn't have my second appointment yet, but you know, he said that there could still be hope. Sometimes we just don't see it, or we miscalculated and we might not hear a heartbeat yet, but right now, as he sees it, there's nothing in the sac. So I made an appointment January 23rd. That's this Saturday. And my husband said, oh, my baby was there with me at the appointment, and my husband, the first thing he said was, at least we have Royce. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's nice. But you know, but at the end of the appointment, I asked him, like, okay, then there could be a heartbeat, there could be a baby, and like kind of holding on to the hope that he gave me a little bit. And he was like, okay, but honestly speaking, this is the first sign of a miscarriage and you're miscarrying. Pretty much, that's what he said. He's Korean, so I may be translating it wrong, but that's what he said. We got in the car. I tried not to cry until I got in the car, and when I got in the car, my husband said, it's okay, we're okay. And the first thing I asked him if he was alright. Are you okay? Because I know that a lot of people, they ask the women if they're okay, but they might not ask the husband. And I was like trying to be a thoughtful wife and I asked, are you okay? And he said, it's gonna be okay and we're fine. And so, but you know, that made me cry more. And on the way there, we called my mom and I told her there's no heartbeat, there's nothing in the sac, and it is the beginning of a miscarriage, and we'll just know in 2 weeks. Because he was giving me mixed messages, my doctor. Like, it could be a pregnancy, but it is a miscarriage, so I was just so confused. So when I got home, I looked it up, like on Google, of course, like what it means to have an empty sac. And the word that kept coming up was blighted ovum. So that's when a fertilized egg, it attaches to your uterus and starts growing a gestational sac, but the embryo never grows. Or it started growing and just stopped very early on. So there's no embryo, but the sac keeps growing and you keep getting the hormones for pregnancy so that you have other symptoms. But I guess I don't really know like when your body actually realizes it and starts to expel it from the body. But I thought, okay, that's probably what I have. The doctor didn't tell me that. because he didn't want to say that you're miscarrying for sure. But I'm going to ask him about it in my next appointment. I thought maybe it's better this way because it's not like there was a growing baby and it died, but it just never grew or never started growing or just stopped growing. But this is still really hard because it's like our dreams and hopes for this new baby has died in our hearts. And all of the things that we thought that we would do with our second baby and see how the baby would react or play with our first son, that's all gone now. And I think that's the sad part. After my OB appointment, it's been about a week. I have been bleeding like a period this past week, but it wasn't as bad as it showed online. My cramps were there. There were some times where I was just like, but it wasn't super terrible yet. I don't know if there is still something yet to come. But so far, it's been a week. I have been bleeding, but it's not like as much as my heaviest days. And my cramping, it's not as bad as actually giving birth or anything. I had cramps and they were very mild, so I was actually worried. So I am actually worried that not everything has come out, so I might have to get the DNC or take a medication to get things to come out. But yeah, my cramps were not horrible and my bleeding was not that bad. I've had heavier periods, but there was a time where I felt something was coming out, so I went to the bathroom and 2 big blood clots came out. I think that probably was the gestational sac coming out and a whole chunk of the wall of my uterus coming out, but it didn't hurt. So if you're really worried about that, there is someone like me who didn't have it that badly. So I have a lot of feelings on this, and it could just be my personality to not feel so much. I'm a person who cries really easily when I'm watching movies, even cartoons. I cry, but I don't really cry about something sad that happens to me that much, or I try not to. I try to just push my negative feelings and just ignore them, or just say it's okay and try to cheer myself up again, even before fully feeling that sadness and having it go away. And online, with miscarriage articles or any of those miscarriage forums, they say you have a right to whatever you're feeling. So for anyone who may be going through a miscarriage and watching this video, I want to just tell you that you're okay for feeling whatever you're feeling. I definitely have a lot of feelings, and I am up and down with how I'm feeling about this. Some days I feel really sad, and sometimes I feel okay. And whenever I watch any of those other miscarriage videos on YouTube, I'm watching a lot of those right now because I am going through a miscarriage. But a lot of them are really sad and really emotional. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I not feeling that emotional? I'm not feeling like this is the end of the world and it's just terrible. I'm actually looking at those women who posted videos of their miscarriage, looking at their channel now, they actually had a successful pregnancy after their miscarriage. And I'm feeling hope for myself. And in movies, sometimes I saw, like in Korean dramas and stuff, that like a marriage breaking up because they couldn't get past their first miscarriage. And I thought it would be something really dramatic like that. Like my life would be like crumbling down and I can't do anything. But actually, a lot of people didn't know I was pregnant. So I think that I've been holding up pretty well in front of people that didn't know I was even pregnant. And if you know me from Instagram, I still comment on other people's things. I still post stuff about my family now. I think anyone who didn't watch this video wouldn't even know that I was going through this. I didn't take any time off work. I guess I'm trying to hold it up for my mom and my husband so that they don't have to walk on eggshells around me. And I don't want my whole family to be feeling sad because of me. And so if I'm sad, everyone's gonna be sad. So I don't want to show that I'm sad. And I don't want my friends to feel sorry for me or be really worried about me. A lot of my friends are in Seattle, and so I don't want them to worry about me. Okay. I try to think of it rationally so that I don't get too emotional, like now. But this is a place I feel like I can be honest about my feelings. And sometimes, you know, right after my OB appointment, I was really sad to see like babies on TV. And some people actually, you know, I follow a lot of moms on Instagram and moms announcing their second pregnancy or their first pregnancy. And seeing that was a little bit hard. And you know, some people are pregnant on my Instagram and they're showing their ultrasound that their baby is strong and healthy in the second or third trimester, and it was kind of sad to see that. But on my comments I say congrats and like, you're so lucky that your baby is healthy, it's a blessing, just so that, you know, they don't take it for granted like I did in my first pregnancy. And also, you know, like I said, I don't feel like so dramatic, and most of the time I feel fine. And I actually feel guilt for not feeling sadder about this. And sometimes I feel like I'm forcing myself to feel emotions that I might not be feeling. Also, like my mom got us baby like onesie for Christmas, and it's in my sock drawer. So every time I open the sock drawer, I feel really sad, and I like kind of look away and try not to look at it when I get my socks. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to like push my emotions away, but it's nice to create this video where I can just feel what I'm feeling and be honest about my feelings and just kind of let it out without like telling a specific person and putting my burden on them. So I guess now, like looking on the bright side or encouraging myself to feel a little bit better. And anyone who may be watching, this thought has helped me. I don't know if it'll help others. So I'm a Christian, and the biggest thought that helps me get through this is to think that this is just not God's timing. I thought it was perfect timing to have this baby now, but maybe it's not God's timing, and he probably has a better plan for me in my life and has a better timing for me in my life. And I think of it like my body wasn't ready. I gained a lot of weight after my first pregnancy, and I was like, I'm going to lose weight before my next one, and I didn't. So I was like freaking out when I was pregnant, like I need to lose weight in my first trimester so that I don't gain more weight and have it like negatively affect me and my body and the baby. But now I guess I have time to exercise. And maybe we're not ready financially. Maybe I could have avoided a bigger tragedy. I know that God lets things happen in our life so that a bigger thing doesn't happen. Maybe my son wasn't ready to be a big brother. He's very like, he's a toddler, but he's still like a baby to me. And maybe he still wants to be the baby of the house right now. And when I was pregnant with this baby, I prayed to God that this baby will help me renew my relationship with my husband so that we'll be a little bit more closer, because I feel like we kind of drifted a little bit more apart with our first baby because of more responsibility and both of us being more tired and not working on our relationship. I prayed that the second baby will bring us back, and I prayed to God that maybe this baby is a good sign that will help me refresh my body and maybe somehow make me skinnier than before I got pregnant. I don't know. I just thought that in my head, like, I hope this baby helps me to get skinnier. That's weird. And somehow I felt like really lucky that this baby will help us to make more money, or somehow like it will work out, our finances would work out after this baby. So I was really hopeful. I was just thinking, like, I was praying that this baby will be a refresh and a renewal in our life. But you know, after I talked to my husband about this miscarriage, I feel like the purpose of this baby has already been fulfilled. A lot of it has been fulfilled, I feel, or will be fulfilled. Like, my husband now, you know, he checks in on me and makes sure that I'm okay. And I feel like our relationship got a little bit closer from this miscarriage. And now I have time to exercise, and me and my husband, we decided we're going to exercise, get more healthy before our next pregnancy. And so I guess this getting skinnier or getting healthier is or will be fulfilled, hopefully. And now we have more time to like make money and save up so that we'll be ready for our second pregnancy or our second baby. And yeah, I feel like the purpose of this baby in our lives, it has been fulfilled, and God had a plan for us, and this is also part of his perfect plan. So I hope this video was helpful for others, and if you want to follow my journey on this, please subscribe and turn on the alarm so that you can see my next video on an update after my OB appointment. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.